Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, Chats 2017. I want to let you know about movements in my life that are very wonderful. And because they affect the work, I want to talk about them. I've been given, really, my walking papers. A couple weeks early, I've been given my diploma. And been kind of scratching my head about this. I mean, I knew, looking at February, when I realized what was finishing up, I saw the numbers, I saw the 55s and the 33s and the 22s and the wheels within wheels within wheels and all of that, and realized, I really brought this right under the wire. This was timed, and it was timed beautifully, impeccably. And there was a deadline. And I've known in the past, when it's been very plain, there were deadlines. And I either was going to make it or I wasn't. Including showing up on the 12/12 in '94 with the teachers in the park and at the church and at that home. I could have chosen to do other things. And so that's really the sum of life. Yeah, I could have chosen to do something else, but here I am. And really, this has been a time when I have chosen to go within and explain things to myself. And part of what I've had to explain are things that came from somewhere beyond me. And when I say to people, I say, well, I'm a writer. Oh, really? What do you write? And then I tell them I'm an essayist. I primarily do essays in consciousness shift. It's some people are interested, but most really go, And really, when I look at my work now, I'm kind of going, because it seems to me that I've exhausted my material. Right on. And I really just have to say, just to end it, I have been exquisitely, richly, deeply loved. I've inspired calamitous, riotous, violent, passionate love. I've had all kinds of wonderful experiences and highs and lows and all of that. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. And now, here it is. I've had my conversion experience 5 years ago in 2 weeks' time. And all this recalibration, now what? Hasn't that been the question? Now what? Well, last night I got my papers. And they were, in essence, I was told by, I'll say it, by my kid, that it really, really bothers him that I need to love myself more. I mean, it's like a big deal for him. And really, I could say the same about him. I just want him to love himself more. And I thought, wow, that's like a total permission slip. I have someone who, we're so bonded. And what he wants from me is for me to love myself. He's not saying, Mom, you just need to love me more. Wow. I mean, that really it took my breath away. How loving that is. And how much responsibility there is in my response. It matters how I respond. And I'm going to. I have. I am. And it means changing things up in my physical reality. It means letting the fog lift. It means declaring this project complete. And haven't I been saying, oh my God, I want Deeply Awake to be done. It's a project. Well, the project included, at the beginning, only a seed of an idea that I was a writer, and a seed of an idea that maybe in 92 I wasn't led down some psychotic garden path about ascension and DNA and earth changes and consciousness shifts and all that. Well, mission accomplished. Now I have a body of work to look back on. 5 years of writing and videography. High five, Angel. Woo, 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 woo. I'm legit. On top of that, I've written a novel and a novella and all kinds of poems and all kinds of stuff. And I'm a savant with a pen. So, it's time to have fun with it. It's time not to crucify myself with it anymore. And declare myself done. So, 5/25, well, that's in 14 days. But I've already got my marching orders. Because the way that I interpret it, this admonition or this call, it's really simple. I've decided that, the whole point when I love someone is to, they know I love them because I see them as legitimate. Even if they have messes, even if they've got pains, even if they have things that they feel they've let themselves down in, or when they let me down or whatever, we're in it. And it's justified. It's all behavior is meaningful. Everything's purposeful. And it's okay. It's okay. That's sort of a nice way to be loved. And it's time that I do that for myself. And I was beginning, I've been beginning. But this has been a lot of conjecture and framing and working and decoding and deconflictizing. And does that end? I don't think so. But the and that yammer and the push to be miserable and to believe in calamity and to not have hope and all that stuff, that somehow just sort of bled off. I'm convinced it's some sort of thought virus. I really do think it's a magnetic thing. But maybe it's just DNA. I don't know. All I know is that I am walking into this day different than I walked into my yesterday, because I see myself differently. I am telling myself a different story about myself. I've been wanting to complete this project, and I wanted last night to come and say goodbye, but I tried and I couldn't get it right. And now with very limited time, I'm here to tell you that, I've said it before, and I'm never going to not be deeply awake. That's sort of how I got here, and it's a big deal. And it's important to have an avenue to discuss things that are esoteric and out of the box. And so I would never say no to that. But given that, I really think that when I look at myself doing these different things, the feeling I get from the deeply awake stuff now is sort of like this, and I just, it's not anywhere I want to continue. I think that it can perpetuate the problem solving, and I don't need to do that. We consider the problems solved and we move forward without the problem. And so that's sort of the idea. And we've been through enough situationally as a team, my son and I, and my work and I, to to actually, I think, move forward now. I feel legitimate. I feel like the real deal. Because I am. And I guess I had to convince myself of that. Well, that's fair. There isn't some conference of great elders that comes and knocks on your door and has a golden wand and dings you on the head and says, okay, you're an artist. You're a writer. It isn't like that. And, you know, me being populated in an environment where the arts and literature are really not held in very high regard by a lot of my compatriots, and I don't hang out with writers, and I'm a magic person. So I think it's really cool for me to sort of step into that mastery and that magic, and use my power for good, and to declare the workbook complete. And you know, workbooks can be amended and edited, and they can also be you know, appendixes and addendums and stuff like that. But that's how I see the deeply awake work. It was more like a, is this really happening? And then a boom, 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 and then all the stuff that happened. And it stands as a very good visual record of ascension. And that was sort of the idea. And I'm done. And that doesn't mean that I don't have questions or conflicts or issues or concerns or loose ends or storylines that are incomplete. I've got all of those. And so it's not like trotting up in a hill and bursting into light and then everything's ducky after that. But everything's ducky. So, go figure. So anyway, that's sort of the lay of the land. And with this, I'm letting you know that, and before when I would come back, part of my concern is, hey, if I stop talking, people are going to stop traveling here and it's going to die. And it's not time yet, it's not time yet. Fine, it wasn't time yet. And I did a lot of really good work. But this will stand. And it's forever. And I need to stop worrying about that. Show a little faith and move on to my next project. Because I got my marching papers. Love yourself. Love yourself. Well, how am I going to do that? 'Cause immediately, what came to me was this thing that I've been asked since May of last year. What do you want? What do you really want? What are you willing to do to get it? Are you willing to change? Because you don't have it in your life right now. So that would mean that change is required. Are you willing to do it? I was willing to do a lot for this work. I was willing to stop working, go into poverty, become fevered, become focused. I gave up a lot, and I got a lot from all of this. What am I willing to do now? What am I willing to dismiss as a belief, as a core concept? What am I willing to remember is true and makes me feel better? So, loving myself, I think, has to do with accepting the things about myself that I find hard to accept, like I would with a lover or like my son. Well, I certainly understand why you're doing that. I get it. How helpful is it? Would you like some help in doing it different? You don't have to. But if you'd like some help, I'm here. You can just see how it feels. So, if I need to do that for myself, I can and I will. It's sort of the idea. And I'm getting goodies. Because, oh boy, this book is gonna, it's a... you'll be hearing about me. This is the book that breaks me through. It's the breakthrough book. And I've been waiting. So, I just have no doubt. So I'll end this way because I think it's really important as a writer and as a human being. There's only one person who knows the depth of this, and I appreciate his willingness to let me be honest about it. So now I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to writing, I have absolutely every confidence in the world. And if you sit there and read what I write and you're not moved, you're not shaken, you're not stirred, that's fine. You just didn't read it very well. It's just fine. It sings. It is otherworldly. It is the real deal. And I know what I walk with. I know what I can do. And I don't walk around swaggering. And that's probably a good thing. My head would be so huge had I gotten the fame my writing so richly deserves way back when. Would have been a little monster. Because I don't question it. It's crazy to question it. It's probably the only area of my life that I feel that way about. It's unassailable. And it's absolutely immune from criticism. It's just, it won't work. It's just dumb. Don't even try. Whoa. I want more of that. I want more, but fully knowing that, I mean, I can walk around swaggering, but let's be real, it's just words on a page. I mean, come on. But if you sit down and read them, then it's another thing entirely. So, far out. I get to love myself more. I get to demonstrate I love myself more. So I'm gonna go do that. My kid is bugging me. We gotta get going. And I want to tell you. So I'll come back. I'm not gonna say no. But next time somebody asks me, "Hey, what do you do? Are you?" and I'll say, "I'm a writer." "Oh, really? What do you write?" "Oh, I'm a novelist." Yeah. I'm a novelist. And I'm going to move things with this book. And I'm looking forward to it. So, I'm on my way. I hope you are too. This doesn't mean I'm leaving. It just means I think I've given more than enough in the way of breadcrumbs, encouragement, credit, permission, assurance, information, inspiration for a lifetime. I think I've done a pretty darn tootin' good job of exposing a lot. And, the light bringer is often seen as the destroyer. That's fine. Now I get to move on. And I wish every single person who has followed me I wish them nothing but happiness, deep, deep happiness, peace, self-acceptance, and that joy that is just inside of your bones that can only just radiate out and burst into laughter. Because it's all available. And I'm ahead of deadline. So I'm going to take a breather and walk real relaxed through this next part, smiling. Because I've earned it. I deserve it. And there's nothing to say goodbye to anymore. It's all just hellos. I've said my goodbyes. I can look down and see where I've been planted, and I'm very grateful for the richness of the soil and the paradox of that dirt. But I'm not that. I'm this. I'm a sequoia. I'm an elder. I am a knower of ancient knowledge. I am a woman goddess. And I am complete. And I'm messing the screen up, aren't I? So, I can say that I went through a process of ascension. It's a process that never stops. You are also on your process of ascension. So ascension is something that just doesn't stop. It only amplifies. But it's amplifying. And it's now time for me to adjust accordingly. And so with that, I leave. I want to wish you every happiness again. And to remind you to fear not and be of good cheer. Jayla.